Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Namaskara, sir.
I'm sorry we are late a little bit.
No problem.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We were talking about the idea called as the Puranas. They are not mythology because there is nothing that myth about it. These are the stories that we construct to see that we have given personification for all these forces, powers, energies that is there in the nature. So that's why they are called as Deva. There are two important concept about Deva, which they call it as God. I don't know why that God has come. What is the meaning of that? We don't know. But Deva is very clearly, there are two important. One thing is that it is, in magnitude, it is big. Like, for example, one simple candle flame is there, it's a candlelight. A zillion candlelights is what is called a sun god. Similarly, one cup of water is water, whereas a zillion times greater than that is what is called an ocean god. And we have created a god picture of that. Second thing is that a Deva, the concept of Deva is something which gives us elevation. That means our psychology, it can go down, but is there a way that we can go in the upper direction? That's what is Deva. So the concept of Deva is always taking us towards this spiritual journey in the upper direction. Spiritual journey, that's not complicated. Simple thing is that our nature itself is consciousness, which is in other terms is called a spirit. Our nature is not matter. So devas are something which do not take us to the matter, but take us to spirituality. That is the idea. So going in the upper direction, that's why we have the simple representation of it is that fire. So every yajna, everything is because of fire. We use the fire with that. The fire always goes in the upper direction.
Just one doubt I always get when you say this.
Yeah.
When we say upward direction, what is the significance of that upward direction?
Away from the matter.
Okay.
Earth is matter.
Okay.
And space is out. So upper direction is towards the space. That means another thing is that, in fact, in one of my PPTs, I had presented that at the lower level that it is the dimension is narrowed. But as it goes towards the space, then it is expanded. Expansion is life, expansion is spirituality. That is the idea of upper direction. So therefore, that only plant will go away, only the fire will go in the upper direction. Another thing which is fire within us is supposed to be prana, which goes in the upper direction. There's only one thing that can defy the gravity. That's what is prana.
Correct.
There is no other thing which defies gravity. That's the beauty of it, prana. So therefore, what happens is that we have made God of all these things so that to indicate that there's Bruhat, and that means they are big. And second thing is they have capacity to take in the upper direction. In Islam, they made that human being is the highest, and all these things are created to subserve man. Therefore, they say that we don't say the sun salutations because we don't salutate sun. Sun is provided as a worker for us, slave for us. In fact, the very fact that somebody works for me itself is blasphemous. In Indian culture, we never have this idea somebody works for me. Each is doing his own work. That's the only thing. Subserving is not the question at all. In fact, that's why seva, we translate as serve, and then the verb of it or the noun of it is called a servant. It's not a servant, serve. It's not serve, therefore. Seva has a different connotation. And we have ample number of examples to show that seva is different. Seva is, like for example, the son facilitates the dad in such a way that dad's activities he shares so that dad is comfortable.
Yeah.
Similarly, wife shares the activities of the house so that husband feels comfortable. Same way, husband shares the activities of wife so that wife feels comfortable at home. To make your life comfortable, I take share of it. And there is no question of service in that. There is no question of, I'm a servant of you, you are a servant of me. There is nothing like that. Like, for example, my own driver. See, I need to go anywhere. That transport thing, he will take care of it so that I don't have to worry about it. I sit in his car, I forget about the rest of the world. He will take me, he will know what's the time I have to go and all those things. He does it. He's not doing any service to me. He's doing seva to me on the other hand. So, seva is a different concept. And there's a beautiful example for that seva we have in Ramayana. I always quote that. You know, Narada comes to Valmiki. That is the beginning of Ramayana. Narada comes to Valmiki. And Valmiki asked Narada, you are a globetrotter, you go all over, and you tell me every time you come with a story of some god, somebody like that, all these gods and goddesses. I'm sick of listening to all these gods and goddesses. Tell me something about a common man. That's what is the question that Valmiki asked Narada. Konvas means samprate loke. That means in the sadharana world, tasya gunavan kirtivan. And he has got dharmajnasya, kritajnasya. These are the people who has that. Then, okay, all right, I will tell you about a common man who is supposed to be Rama. And then he says, Ayodhya Ramanagari, Ramo Ramasya. This, like that, the whole discussion starts. And he talks about in 100 shlokas in Ramayana, first 100 shlokas, he gave the whole of Ramayana. But the idea that he has given about Rama is so extraordinary, so exalted, it elevates you right away.
Yeah.
So, and he was just, Valmiki was thinking of that Rama's character, sitting there under a tree and just listening to, ruminating on that thought. How extraordinary this person Rama was and all those things. At that time, just the disciple, student, Bharadwaj said, is it, it's evening that you have to go Sandhya? And Valmiki said, yeah, I need to do Sandhya. Let me go. Then, okay, I'm going. Like that he says. But then again, he continues to sit there. Bharadwaja goes around and then comes back. Sees this man is sitting there. What is Guruji? Come on, you are supposed to take Sandhya. Sun is setting and then you need to go. Yeah, I need to go. Says like that. But he was lost in his thought. See, the thought of Rama was so engrossing that he does not know about the time. He's beyond all that. That's an elevated state of mind. Again, Bharadwaja comes in. This man doesn't move. Anyway, I don't want him to come down from that level. Let him maintain that level. So he collects all those things, Kamandalu, etc., and says, like, come on, let's go to Sandhya. Like, mechanically, he walks with him as if he's walking in some dream world, not in the real world, because his mind is always in the dream. This is supposed to be seva. That means to say, make Guru comfortable, just take care of all these other things so that he is elevated that way. His elevation does not come down. And the proof of that is so beautiful. When he goes to Sarayu River, and then Valmiki himself writes, when he looks at Sarayu River, the moment he sees Sarayu River, expression that he comes, he says that how pure the Sarayu River is, like Sanmanushya Manoyatha. Like the pure mind of Rama, how pure it is, like that Sarayu River is there. That shows where his mind is.
Yeah.
So when he feels that way, at that moment suddenly that crowd of birds were there, and then the hunter hits that crowd of bird. Immediately that one bird falls down, the other goes round and round and that. When he looked at it, he felt very shocked. And the whole Ramayana comes in his mind. And he feels, how much must have been Rama felt when Sita was lost. And then he says that Manishada Pratisthayam Tumagama Shashwati Samaha, that shloka comes out, which is nothing but hey, Nishada. That means a boy. And then he took away. And how much he has been suffering for Ram, that he meant. But then it was actually at that moment, it also means that this hunter unnecessarily hit the bird and make the other bird cry and go around and all that. Then Bharadwaja was with him and said, "Ah, my dear, such a wonderful poetry that you have said." I said, "It's not poetry, I'm feeling my heart." I said, "No, no, this is what you are, the beautiful start of this poetry. Why don't you continue this?" That's how Ramayana was created. So somebody in that state continue to maintain that, to help that state to happen. That's what is basically the way seva.
You tell Mahanubhava Sevate.
Yeah, Mahanubhava Sevate. Mahanubhava, I don't want to bring it down, it has to be there. That's what in Narada Sutra he talks about it. In fact, it's a very common, simple thing. Like, I used to have a colleague in my office, and he was a director of technical director and all that. He would give money to his driver and go and see cinema. New cinema has come. He said, "Go and see new cinema. I want you to see." And that fellow will see the cinema and then come back. Evening, after all his work, he will sit down on an easy chair in his house and tell me now the story. He listens to that story, and you know, there's that driver kind of, and they tell the story a couple of hours, you know, and he's happy.
That is a satsanga for him.
That is a satsang for you. This is the way seva is. Don't consider that person as a servant. How can you translate seva into service? Not service. Service is not a good
There
word.
can be no translation.
There's no translation. I mean, like many words do not have translation, English equivalent. Same way, seva doesn't have equivalent. So the seva is something which is very important. And you do the seva for the God. Because I want to make God feel comfortable. And that seva is, I put him nice, wonderful chandan, this, that, and then ornaments, and I wash him nicely. All that I do so that he feels happy with that.
Actually, in our culture, we tell seva is an offering.
Yes, a seva is an offering that I do from my heart. I do that.
Yeah.
So that's why we see that anybody who is elderly, we do the seva because elderly is elderly because of two reasons. One is age-wise experience he has. Second thing is knowledge-wise.
Wow.
So we don't want to bring them down.
Right.
Their age experience we don't want to bring down, discount, and there's knowledge we don't want to discount. So therefore we do the seva for them. So these aspects are something in the so you can see the characters are at elevated level, so that tomorrow I need to reach that state. I have to read not that people do the seva for me, but I should feel that whatever that state, that he is there. That's why he is somebody who is in that state called as Acharya. And tomorrow you are going to be there. That's why a student is called as Antevasi. That means to say, by end, you are going to be there. So, Acharyante vasana manushasti tadyatapah 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 Taittiriyopanishad mantra. So we have a concept that way that you grow in the upper direction, which is supposed to be the spiritual sadhana. So therefore, this creation is there so that it's all right, it could take care of all these things, but to see that how you can elevate yourself. And that stories are there in the Puranas.
You might, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's not my question. You might hear some people saying that, why do I have to say serve God and flatter or bribe him? So what would you answer to that?
Flatter who?
Flatter God. I hear people
Right,
saying,
it is not,
arguing
it's
with
for
that.
my sake to recognize that he's somebody extraordinary. Like a simple thing is that if I, if I meet somebody, I might have just come from a football match and then said, you know what, this player who's, what a wonderful play that he has, or say this our
Maradona.
Maradona, or even our this shuttle badminton player, that PV
Sindhu.
Sindhu. God, kind of activity she does, I talk about all those nice things. Am I flattering her? I'm recognizing the greatness of that. So that's why we do it. Similarly, a musician, when I see that how beautiful he's singing, how extraordinary that he has all those things. And that means I'm not flattering him. That is how it is. For my satisfaction to recognize the greatness of the power center that is there. Moment you say power center, it has no life. That's why I say that power plus consciousness is what is God. West has taken it only as a power. We have taken plus consciousness. That's why it is God. So it's not flattering any God. Recognizing that how great that these people are there, so that I feel satisfied. It is for my satisfaction I say all these things. So that's how essentially the whole. In fact, that you can see that trend in Upanishad also. Right? Like for example, Panchakosha. I mean Panchaprana. Upanishad talks about prana. And then he says that prana like this, udayati, apana udayati, like that he says. He feels so exalted by even thinking of that. Then he feels at once praising the prana. And he says, Pranasyedam vashet sarvam tridiveyat pratishtatam. Mateva putra. You know your prana. You are so great. You are so wonderful. Mateva putran rakshasva. Like the way mother takes care of a child, you have taken care of me all the time. When I slept, you are taking care of me. When I wake up, you are taking care of me. When I'm sick, you are taking care of me. When I'm healthy, you are taking care of me. When I was a child, you took care of me. I was the mother's womb, you took care of me. So that's why I feel so great about you. It's myself feeling it. It's not the question of praising any prana. Sun God doesn't want any praise. In fact, next week I'm talking about this idea called as Hiranmayana Patrena. It's an extraordinary, wonderful concept. It's not just you say God, Sun God that you pray. Oh, Sun, you give me
Where are
this,
you
give me that.
taking?
Yeah.
You're giving some sessions.
In this VLC in Vedanta session, Ishas Upanishad, next mantra is that. It's an extraordinary mantra. We don't know even the depth of the mantra that is there, how beautiful it is. So therefore, essentially, all these Puranas are created to see that. We recognize his capacity. You see, what happens is, it was very beautifully said, that when Tenzing Norgay and Hillary went on to the Everest, man felt extra confident. It's not the question you went there. The question is that one of us is Hillary, Edmund Hillary, and they have conquered Everest. They can get to the Everest. That's what is the same. Similarly, Gagarin, who went around the space. Wow, we could go to the space. Somebody landed on the moon, Edwin Aldrin, etc., etc. Wow, one of us can land on the moon. See, it brings about credit for us. You feel enthusiastic about that. One step like that can give enthusiasm. So that's why all these gods and goddesses, we created nice, wonderful picture, nice stories about that, nice praise for them, all those things, so that I feel elevated with these concepts.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why all these Puranas are there, Puranic characters are there. So we don't have just only one God. God sitting in heaven does not know anything about what's happening on the earth. But we have somebody who has again and again come here to really help us to grow by his inspiration. See, inspiration is so great. Like a simple thing is Vivekananda. He came 150 years ago. But the words he said is so inspiring even till today. Similarly, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago. But the words are so inspiring even today. So that's why these are the people who have inspired us. We have made them as itihasas and we have made them as Puranas. So that, and we to remember that. So these great characters we created so that we remember extraordinary way that they can help us to see that how we can grow. One aspect of it. Second thing is Puranas have also incorporated the latest technology at that time that was developed. Because all these Puranas only that they give the ideas of how the temple architecture, that means to say about extraordinary development of architecture they are given, how to make the idol and what are the things that you need to take care to see that idol is taken care of. We knew about the metallurgy. We knew about the stones and then their property. All those things we have given in the Puranas. You look at the way that the kind of structure that they have done in the temple, that there is a temple where half of the pillars, they are not even supported on the ground. You can pass a paper underneath that, they are not supported. They are there. How extraordinary, wonderful architecture they must have had to be able to develop that. These are all the Puranas have given all these things. Similarly, Puranas also give about the extraordinary knowledge is about the time. You see that Western time today that we follow is something which is, we got it from Julius Caesar, and before that it was not there. That's why we have created this idea called as before Christ and after Christ. They didn't have anything before the Christ, and they have given some idea. And then some researchers went into saying that 5th in Bible it is said 4004 BC, 4004 years back. Earth is created on the November 16th. I don't know how that they came to an idea. Whereas we knew that this earth is there for billions of years, and we have a different way of looking at it. So therefore, this whole thing, and not only that it was there before that, but whatever the details are given, even today they are accurate. Like the very simple example is this Mahakumbha Mela. 144 years once it happens like that. Kumbha Rashi, that Brihaspati and the sun enter at the same time. This can never happen in the cosmology, and that we have said so many years back. I said that several Kumbh Melas have taken place. That means several 144 years have happened already. And look at the way that the accuracy of that is on that particular day. Somewhere there in the Himalayas and all those, these Nagas and all those, they come. How did they know? What is the communication? Today we have all this, AI and all that is there. They don't, they are in them, they are themselves AI.
Intelligence themselves.
They are themselves AI. They know how to
real
come.
intelligence.
Uh-huh.
They're real intelligence.
Yes,
No artificial.
not with their intelligence, that's all. So everybody came, and then everybody waited for the Sanathana that those people do it, and then people go ahead and do this. So all that shows that we had extraordinary, wonderful record of our scientific development of the Puranas. So now, can anybody question that Puranas are right or wrong, even are real or unreal? That question is immaterial. And apart from that, the amount of metallurgy aspect that is there, the description of all those things that are there, like for example, in Mahabharata, how much uh, detail about the description that came. Valala, that means Bhima, when he was in the place of Virata, and he was supposed to be cooked there. And then Valala introduces what is the arrangement he has made in the kitchen. And you know how extraordinary that is? He says that vegetables are all stored at one place and all this vegetarian. This is what is the normal food. And then what is meat? And then meat, there are qualities of meat which have to be consumed immediately. There are qualities of meat which you can preserve. And how to be preserving that? It should be preserved in this salt. And some meat you cannot even preserve in the salt. Like for example, fish and all that you can preserve in salt. But red meat you can't preserve in salt. We didn't know about all those things. Mahabharata knew about it 5,000 years ago. See, that means how much of knowledge that we had, all these things, and Puranas give us this. So, should we say Puranas are real or unreal? This question becomes unnecessary, insignificant. You only think of it, somebody can be there with an elephant head. It's a poor question that you're asking. You have so many other explanations. So, therefore, essentially, this Puranas will give us about metallurgy, about architecture, about the statecraft, and about law, because so many things that law is created. Most important thing in Puranas that we give, which is people are missing, that is the relationship. A family is nothing but a relationship. How many different relationships are connected there? How many ways that it has been connected? So all these things are, if you just rejecting Puranas, that means basically you're rejecting all these things. But you can reject all these things, but for the sake of some higher purpose. That means to say, if you are supposed to be established yourself in samadhi, yes, for samadhi, these things do not exist. That's why we have Buddha, who said, I don't need gods and all that things, but it is the self that's important. Ramana Maharshi, he did not go for all those things. He wasn't, but only when somebody who can establish himself into that samadhi, such a person doesn't require all those things. Just because that Buddha did not accept it, I mean, look at Mahavir. He did not accept it. We also do not accept Puranas. It's foolishness. Yes, you have not raised to that level where you denied. So that's why in this culture there are all these things that are there, and we have established them in such a way that they are brought to our day-to-day life. For what? To see that with one simple purpose that we have, that's what is Sanatana Dharma. And what is that Dharma? We go in the upward direction, spiritual growth. That's what is the purpose for which that all these Puranas are given. Now, this whole philosophy that is there, upward direction or inward direction, both these things are one and the same thing. It is something that about the material world outside, clarity, and second thing is the inner world, from where the creation, yato va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivante, where from the creation start, what's the origin of it? So this is something which we didn't have any ambiguity there. We were very clear. There's one source from which everything has come, and that source we call it as Brahman. And the very definition of Brahman is that which is there is no second. Everything is including is Brahman. Second thing is Brahman is that which is constantly expanding. It is dynamic. It is living. That means constantly expanding. And today science is saying that expanding universe. After so many years, science is now coming to expanding universe. And we said about this 7,000 years ago.
Where is this reference? In which?
Brahman.
Oh,
Very definition of Brahma Sutra itself is like
says
that.
that. Oh.
Brahma Sutra itself gives the definition. But that the Brahma Sutra is taken from the Vedas, or Upanishads. Brahma
Atman
Upanishads.
also expand. Atman.
Atman is actually same Brahman. When you look at from the individual side, it's called as Atman.
Correct. So Atman also expands.
Yeah.
Part of
Atman
that.
and Brahman, they are not two different things at all. It's expansion only. Now, another question also. Expansion is not that something is expanding. The idea is that it's giving up its smallishness. That's how expansion. By giving up your limitations, that you are expanding.
Yeah.
Yes, we give up our limitations so that we go higher and higher. That's what is the idea. When the more and more that you caught up in the limitations, you are making yourself small. That's how the creation has taken place. Like, for example, simple thing is mind can see, mind can hear, mind can do all kinds of things. Mind has all this ability. But mind itself does not do it. Therefore, mind, a portion of it, lost all its capacity, became eyes, so that eyes can only see. So that means a smallishness has created eyes. Smallishness created ears. Smallishness itself created the tongue taste. So that means to say, it has given up its expansiveness so that it has become this. It's consciously. That means I consciously became less and less and things to see that I interact.
That's what you were told in some section. Mind gave up its freedom to become.
Yes, freedom means its expansion, it has capacity to organize everything. So, like that, essentially, consciousness gave up its freedom to become something of a lesser. That's what is actually the freedom of the consciousness, which I say. A freedom which cannot give up its freedom is not freedom. You understand that? If I say there's a freedom, you have a freedom, but you can't give up your freedom. What's the use of it? Like money you have, you feel free with the money, but you cannot change this money. You cannot change this money. What do you do? This is what Mida's story. Whatever he touches becomes gold. So everything has become gold. He was very happy. But then he cannot convert that gold into anything. Water he touches, it becomes gold. Wife comes, he touches, she becomes gold. Then what to eat, what to drink, what to do, what I interact with. So it cannot convert it. Mida's problem is that. Then he goes back to his Seychelles and then says, please forgive me. And wrongly, please take away my two hands, which everything touches becomes gold, so that I become human being.
That's why Brahma wished Bahusya.
Sorry?
That's why Brahma felt he should manifest in so
Yeah,
many.
from itself manifest. First of all these three Trimurti, Brahma itself manifested. So, because anything created has to have three stages: birth, sustenance, and then dissolution. So, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Its Parabrahman has become these three. And then further it is like that. Vishnu comes back, Vishnu Shakti comes back to continue to preserve. So that's what we say. Rama is one of the Vishnu Shakti, Krishna is Vishnu Shakti. So to preserve. Why not only that, even today, we say that somebody who makes us sustain is a Vishnu Shakti. So like that, somebody who dissolves so that new thing is created. That's what is Shiva. Actually, Shiva is such a beautiful word. Shiva is somebody who can repeat the whole thing, can give rise to new thing. That's what is the Shiva. So anyway, all these three things are, we have created a concept of it. Not that somebody is sitting there doing creation, doing this thing. It is the concept that we have created. Like that, all these Panchabhutas, they are also another concept that we created. That means something which is called as the fire god, wind god, this god, that god, we have created. Empty numbers, any Shakti, any power that is there, we call it as God. That's the beauty of it, so that we have any power, anything that you could create. And then we created, and then what happened is that connected with that, we also created, that's what last time I was saying, that Vedas have these portions, what is called a Jnanakanda, the highest purpose, then Brahmanas. Brahmanas contain all these mantras. These mantras can be used for these rituals that we create. And then Karma Kanda. Karma. In Karma portion, that there are two things. One is called as the yoga portion of it, and then Karma Kanda portion of it. Both of them serving the same purpose, but little different in their approach. And this Karma Kanda, we use the mantras from the Brahmana. So that we feel sacred about it. You go to any uh, ritual that people do it. There are nice, wonderful Sanskrit mantras they chant. Don't look into what the mantras meaning. Do we know the meaning? Do they know the meaning? Nobody bothers about that. And you should not question also. Like, for example, we sing every day, every time when our function is there, we sing the national anthem. You mean to say every time you are thinking of national anthem? Don't think of it. You just do it. That's all. You created a practice to do it. It gives a mind uh, frame of mind. So that is the reason why these mantras are there. Don't ask people to say that what is the meaning of the mantra. Do you know that meaning of the mantra? This is immaterial. You create a frame of mind for that these mantras are used. Go to any of these rituals when they are singing these mantras. How beautiful it sounds, how nice it sounds. It is for that. You feel that. It's not a question of you go the meaning of it.
Actually, Raghuramji, all these mantras, when he converted into Kannada, exact.
It is.
Couldn't, it lost its sanctity.
Yeah, the sanctity is lost. Translate to Kannada, translate to Tamil in Tamil Nadu. You see, the whole purpose is lost. In fact, when you look at the mantras, meaning is very simple. Padyam, Padyam, Pradeshami, this Arghya, Bhatya, things. And they're actually in Sanskrit. It's also nothing but you are taking care of somebody, child. God is like a child and you take care of him. You give a nice bath, you give this, you give that. And anybody guest comes to the house, you first of all give him water to wash the feet. So that's all we do it. And these are the things which we are saying in the mantras, melodious mantras. So that gives a different atmosphere. It's not the question of all right. You see, after all, you want gulabi, the flower. Instead of that, I will put the gulabi plant itself. You everything it again. And that doesn't give you the feeling of having a rose flower there. So essentially, that these things are not something to be translated and used. It. See, there are something, it's not translated, you have to transcend the language. transcending the language, you get the benefit of it, you get the beauty of it. Similarly, every singer, do you mean to say that they go into the literature of the song that is there? Sometimes Muthuswami Dikshitar's literature is so tough and so complicated. He puts all those Guru Gaha things so many. And then nice melody is there, music is there, you feel that. So you don't need the meaning of that mantra. So that's what. So in fact, nothing that we need to go that way. We need to look at from the point of view, what is the benefit that you get out of it? Like that, these things are innumerable things are created. Now, this journey that we are doing into the understanding about now, this, as I said, manifest world, and behind that is the unmanifest world from where the creation has started. So we know very clearly that there must have been a big journey before even this has come up. Like, for example, a wave comes, that wave gathers its momentum and all that in the ocean. There's a depth of ocean. That's the reason why wave has come. The same wave, if you take the water in your cup, it does not have that wave. It has to come from the depth of ocean. The same way, all these things have something which is at the background. A child is born 9 months, mother carried at home. And then before that also, that the child in various forms gathered the form right from the beginning of the creation. There is so much of impression that is there. 5, 6 generations later also, the face cut exactly resembles the same. So therefore, there is so much at the background. So therefore, this is what we have realized. And then they said that we need to create understanding about these two things. What is the manifest? What is that which is behind that? So three ways that you can look at the world. Three ways that you can look at the world. That's why they said that one is the way that you logically present these things, which is called as Mimamsaka. So therefore, we have Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa. Jaimini created that. Second thing is that we go by the cause and effect connection. And that's what is the idea of, say, Nyaya and Vaisheshika. Nyaya is rule. There's a rule by which you follow it. But then there is something which is background that's supposed to be Vaisheshika. Similarly, the third thing is everything in this world is material, and material has a number. Therefore, Sankhya. And then behind that is yoga. So these three things are why they have said the elements are five. They have different purpose by which way that they have. In present day world that you approach, elements are not five. There are 118 elements are there, and then they also, you see, matter. First they said matter and energy, and they said matter is real, energy is something which is not real. So they have taken this matter. They went on dividing the matter, and further it has come to a level where 118 different elements are there and all that they said. But finally, the elements further when they divided, it got back into atoms. Atom becomes electron. Electron becomes energy. Now matter itself is lost. Now only energy is there. Nothing but everything is an energy, and that's what Hiroshima, Nagasaki have shown us. So material scientist, now he is no more a material scientist, he is an energy scientist. And the energy is also now slowly became, say, where does it comes from the nothing. So that's how it is started, that is what is called as the matter, and antimatter is there. So all these things are going on. Whereas we have five elements which was there 10,000 years ago. Today also we have the picture of five elements. What are these five elements? The very interesting thing that is there. Five elements is not that element is not like the way that they said that it can be broken down. Element is a state that we are in. A solid state, that's what is basically the idea of Prithvi. And then a liquid state, that's what is Apaha. And then there is a fire state, and that's what is Tejas, and Vayuhu, and Akasha. These are five different stages. And you cannot change that. They are always there. And why they have made it to five is that these five will be made use of by our senses. Like for example, that taste is belonging to the earth. Like that we have given. various things and then equated that. So that equation continues for us to see that how we can regulate them within ourselves. It's not the question of whether they are real or unreal, then what further divided, don't divide them. Even if you divide the earth, but your food must be something which is integrated. Everything is like that. So that, you see, by dividing that, you are in great trouble. Like, for example, they divide into all these minerals, elements, and and then now they said that these particular items will have high iron content or high zinc content. What is that? So therefore, it's poison. Arey Baba, in what form are you taking? Our sages, our people have been eating for the ages together. At that time, you didn't feel that it is something which is poison. Today, suddenly you felt poison because that you unnecessarily divide that. What should not be divided. So this is how distillation or the disintegration will create a problem for us. We had wonderful way the system is created, integrated way we look at it. We always try to look at what goes with what integrated way so that it can enhance the property of it. This is how the whole development has taken place in this culture. So we have a separate science developed in that, and the science developed is what is given in the form of various. uh, In the Vedas, it is there. In the Karma Kanda, it is also there. Now, this is actually what is the way Sankhya philosophy gives us. But then it is about the manifest world. But then you need to go into the deeper level, into the unmanifest level. So that's what is called as yoga. Yoga is not actually the is the practice is, my body bends better, my back pain goes away, my this thing. It's not for that reason. Incidentally, it might happen, but basic idea of yoga is to see that how you can go deep inwards. And that's how very beautifully it is given. Like dharana, dhyana, samadhi is the way that you turn inwards. That chapter, even though Ashtanga Yoga is given, but last three steps of Ashtanga Yoga, you put it to the next chapter, that's what is Vibhuti Pada. Vibhuti is the secret of creation. He goes into that secret of creation. So that's why Patanjali has given us the Yoga Shastra. So these things are the three ways of looking at the world. Unfortunately, people call it as darshanas. And six darshanas, shat darshanas. I'm not happy with the word called as darshana. Because, I mean, darshana is philosophy. Darshana is perception. So three perceptions that are there, which unnecessarily people call it as philosophies. They are not philosophies. They are darshanas. Let us keep it as darshana only. That means the way of perceiving. One way of perceiving it is in the form of logic, and that's what is uh, analysis. That's what is mimamsa. And second thing is logic. That's what is nyaya, vaisheshika. And third is the way that it is number. That was Sankhya and Yoga. And basically, Sankhya has given us these two things. One is called as Prakriti, and the other is the Purusha. How beautifully they might have thought about it. It's an extraordinary, wonderful thinking. That I see an object. Actually, I'm not seeing an object. I'm seeing the light being reflected on the object. That means otherwise, the object itself is not there for me. A beautiful example for that is this full moon that you see shining on the sky, dark sky. And we know today that the moon shines because of the sunlight. But then nowhere else in the sky, sun is not there. Somewhere it's in the other side, and then sunlight falls on the moon, and then you reflect it. This morning, 6 o'clock, I was going for a walk. It's a beautiful full moon. Full moon. I've taken a picture of that actually. So essentially, that moon shines because of sunlight, but all along the sky, it's dark. That means you don't see the light. Light is coming all the way. That means in the sky there is light. That means you don't see the light. Only when light is reflected, you see the object. And you see the object, actually, you see the light. Reflected light you see, but you don't see the light.
It's there, but you can't see.
Yeah, you can't see that. So light is something that you cannot see. Let me show you the picture that I've taken this
See, the
morning.
sunlight that we are seeing is because of all the dust and particles that are in the way.
Yeah.
We would not have seen sunlight.
Right, otherwise we would not have seen. So this is the picture.
Yeah.
It's actually our
Yeah.
Dr. Amit's
Early morning.
house, and the foreground Amit's house is there. Behind that is the moon that is there.
Yeah.
Morning 6:20, 6:05, 6:10, I was there for walking.
This is from Yoga Vasishta, no?
Huh?
Yoga Vasishta? Vasishta.
Not
It's from
Vasishta.
Prashanthi.
Prashanti.
Prashanti.
Yeah, Prashanti. I went to main entrance and I went around
Ah.
Vivekananda statue and then coming back. So I
Correct.
usually go for about 2-3 kilometers walk every day. Nice picture. You can actually expand it, you can see the moon. So beautiful. So on one side moon was there, on the other side sun was coming up.
Actually, currently when you see, you think actually it's
Yeah,
the sun.
Yeah.
Because it's orange yellow.
Right.
It's like the Jivatma and Paramatma style.
Yeah.
Keep telling.
The beauty is they call moon more beautiful. They don't call sun beautiful.
Yeah, right.
Sun
And
is
this is
vibrant, they say.
Amit's house.
Actually.
The below that is the Amit's house. Amit, our
Okay.
Dr. Amit. So I said, Amit, your house is there.
Mhm.
Behind that is the moon. So what happens is that these are the perceptions. Darshana. That means sometimes we get the perception of Sankhya. Sometimes we use the logic perception. It doesn't matter, whatever the perception that you use. So these are not actually philosophies. But then, based on our experience, we have different kind of uh, interaction with the world outside. This interaction, what we do with the world outside, is what is called as the Dvaita, Advaita, Visishtadvaita. Again, they are not different Siddhantas. There is no Siddhanta. It's all our own perception. Sometimes you feel Dvaita is the way that you interact. Most of the time, that's what we do it. Sometimes we do Advaita way. Basic ideas is we know that there is no two. It's all one and the same thing. In the sense that, look, for example, that I would like a particular way of thinking. And I think that you're also the same way that you like to have that. Like, for example, we are all coming up from the South Indian way of life. So first thing is that we take the rice, rasam, sambar, something like that. And afterwards, last, we use the curd rice. And somebody from the West came and said, come on, let's serve. And then first he started curd rice with everybody. Oh my God, you cannot do that. So that means to say there is oneness between our practices, our ideas. So various things which are connected with that. So that oneness of all those things is called as Advaita, not duality. You see, in transaction, that oneness is so beautiful it is. Sometimes in some cases that you feel oneness, otherwise duality. That's what is Vishtadvaita. These are all the things which we have in our day-to-day life. You can't have one only the other.
It's so complicated when some
People
say
make
all
it
these
so
things.
complicated. This is what happens. You see, when I try to look at it, why I say that this is not complicated, because this Shastra itself is born out of your experience. Anubhavamiti Shastram, na anyatha. I can't bring about Shastra which is not there in your experience. Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he says, he is a very witty person. He gives an example of that. He says that, get me that Gagabugi game. What is that Gagabugi game? There on the plant, and that's what is Jajabugi game. What is that plant? That you don't know, this you don't know, what you get it? No, that is what is the philosophy says. That means you don't understand philosophy. Because it's not belong to our day-to-day life. How beautifully present that way. So therefore, whatever that's your experience, we need to put in the form of philosophy. Na anyatha, not otherwise. If I say that, you grow all these auras around your head, what's the meaning of that? How does it make any sense to us? All these things we have to eliminate. So if I want to talk about Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta, Advaita, don't make it into philosophies. Make it a simple way that your own experience. And in this condition, you feel the Advaita Sthiti. In this condition, you feel Dvaita Sthiti. All that you feel it. Like, for example, when we all go to sleep, look at the way sleep is such a unifying thing. Your mind, your body, your prana, your this thing, everything is unified. That's why Mandukya Upanishad puts that way. That he says that when the sleep is a experience of unified experience. It is a harmonized experience. You don't have the separate thing. In fact, all these things get into your experience of sleep. There is nothing else. You don't say that, I'm seeing a nice, wonderful sleep, I'm hearing sleep, good sleep, I'm hearing. I mean, it's not your sleep, but somebody else's sleep you can hear.
So
If somebody has
I
sleep.
am sleeping.
Yeah, there's no question of you are this
Okay.
even the doer itself is gone. It's merged into that.
Mm.
This is what he says that he stole a buku, Pravikta buku, and then the third one he says that is the sleep state, it is that Ananda buku. And then Ekonumamshata mukha, and there are no senses in this deep sleep state. And it says Prajna Sturiya, I mean, gives the idea that it is just uniform. It is that homogeneous. There is no other experience. If you understand that, Upanishad says, yes, that's there in our experience. And every time you go to that state, when you come out of it, you are a reborn person. So that can be equated to the birth and death condition also. Death is also something which is which is ironing out all the differences. You are merged with yourself. But only thing is that you carry some impressions that will bring you back to the next life. So that's why if you carry the impressions which are good, next life will be good. You don't carry the good impressions, next life will be bad. That's up to you.
Same
Like
thing
the
with
way,
sleep. I was there yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm there today morning. In
Today
between,
morning,
I
that's
don't
all.
know. Morning, I'm very nice. But again, I'll carry slowly, I'll bring back the
All
previous
those things,
day's
slowly,
experience.
all those things will come back.
Exactly.
That's why it takes time. No, the moment you get up from sleep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still black.
Clear.
You're still like a child.
Yes.
And slowly all these things set in. Then you're smart. You're no more a child, you become smart. And many times if the memory is not very strong, one day I got up from my sleep. I opened my eyes after really tired, just in good sleep, and then got up. Started wondering, where am I getting up?
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Where am I getting up? Which place? No, I left Los Angeles.
Mm.
And San Francisco, I think I left even before to Los Angeles. I was still closing my eyes and trying to remember.
Mm.
Then have I reached? Oh, I'm supposed to reach uh, this thing. What is it? Tokyo. But I don't think anybody has come to receive me at the Tokyo. I think I'm still not in Tokyo. Then where am I? Then I got up and saw. I was in Seoul actually.
where you were?
Seoul.
Oh, okay. Oh my
Then I
God.
have to go to, after 3 days only I'm going to Turkey, even Tokyo. See, even that registration of that place is also not there in my mind.
Mm.
So it's like a dissolution.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
completely dissolved. That's what is Brahmasthiti.
Mm.
We are into Brahmasthiti. Everything is dissolved. Then everything picks up. So this journey, you see, how easy it is to be understood about all this thing. Actually, that's why they say that Shankara has created the Advaita philosophy. Advaita doesn't require any philosophy. See, very simple idea is that Upanishad again and again say like that. Like the way that your hair comes from the same head. Same thing is there in the background. Hair comes up. Different hair comes up. Hundred millions of hairs come up. They come from the same source. That is there. Like that creation is also like that. Many has come. Not only our creation, the creation of all these planets and stars, everything has come up like that. A simple statement Upanishad makes. Yatha Keshalo Mani. It's an experience. So for somebody who can have that, then that luxury is there, you can give that experience. I cannot give that experience to Krishna because he doesn't have any cash flow money. So this way, essentially, these are all very simple idea to give. The analogies that they have given. Another analogy that he has given is how the creation is. Like the way that when the rain comes up, are there not grass coming up from the earth?
Yeah.
Just like that, several blades of grass come up. Like that, creation has come up, multiplicity has come up from the same source, one source. So that one source is supposed to be no second. That's what is called as Advaita. So it's a very simple way that it is created. But does it make any difference to us? After this is philosophy is very good. But in my transaction, I can't use it. In my transaction, only thing is that you are like human being like me, so therefore your requirements are like my requirement. These are the things. But other than that, so there is the background that Advaita is there. We don't have to create any big philosophy behind it. We don't have to create any big philosophy. Shankara also did not create any philosophy. He said this is what is the original thing that is there. But you go to that, realize that, make that as your own. Now what happens? I've worked out with analogy. But is there an experience that I become that? In fact, in Vivekananda, in his Song of Sannyasi, he brings about that concept. He says that I am the only same one Brahman I am. And that's what even the Shankaracharya brings about. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am that one person, one individual. It's his experience. If Shankara could experience, if Vivekananda could experience, we can also experience that state. It's a wonderful state of experience. When you really go through to that, you see that there is no difference between two. There is no difference between the object and me. You feel that, you experience that. Wow, that is extraordinary experience. Go to that experience. This is what all these people have said it. But at the transaction level, that you see that I have God, I pray and I offer my praise, nothing but I praise the God. I take the way, like earlier I said, that you take the various characters of God and all those things. So that's what basically the way that Dvaita, Dvaita, Vishta, Dvaita, these are the people who have expressed themselves. Shankara expressed one way, Ramanuja expressed another way, Madhva expressed a different way, Raghavendra has expressed a different way. So like that, there are several expressions that are there. But basis for all these people is only Upanishad. I was reading Madhvacharya's commentaries on the Upanishads now. And so beautiful when you read that. But it's different from Shankara's, but that's his own experience that is there. So Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta, Advaita, they are not to fight, they are not to argue. They have to see that how we can, one thing might appeal at one point of time, another way appeals at another point of time. Advaita philosophy appeals another way. Advaita philosophy applies another way. Visitadvaita appeals to you at a different time. So all these things, something that we can use it to see that everybody, whether it is Madhva, Ramanuja, or Shankara, they all wanted you to go towards that your own nature called as Brahman. They all wanted you to go for that, either in the form of surrender or in the form of exaltation, etc., etc. These are the things that are there. So that's why this culture has provided extraordinary, wonderful idea that is there. And then going in that direction is what is the spiritual direction that we require. For that, Sanathana Dharma is created. Now, this journey going towards that is supposed to be yoga. So I'll show you that in all different aspects of yoga, how this has been taken care of, how this is given in the next courses of Sanatana Dharma. I'll go into detail about all these things. Different kind of yoga. Stop it here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Anyone has any doubt,
Somebody
you're
has,
welcome to unmute. Oh, okay. Doubt is there.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, a quick question or statement.
Yes.
Every human being at one stage or the other, we do have, like you said, that Advaita and Dvaita.
Yeah.
When I go to the temple or stand in front of the God, when I ask him, give me this, give me that, then I am recognizing myself as different from him.
Right. Right.
So when I do it, they said, okay, Aham Brahmasmi. If I go that, then I'll become the Advaita.
Temple doesn't
Advaita.
exist for you. Aham Brahmasmi temple doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Then, like Ramana, he was though near the temple, he never entered inside the temple. That Brihadeshwara temple, the Shiva temple, he was sitting outside under the tree because Ramana was having that Advaita experience. In fact, that's the reason why even Buddha said there is no God. Because only thing is that you shunya, that you just dissolve yourself. That's what he said. That's why somebody made a beautiful comment saying that Buddha always said that there is no God, but then Buddhists made Buddha as God himself. They made him as God. Hmm.
That's the difference from the lead and the led.
Right. That's why we'll say Christ wanted everybody to become a Christ, but they became Christians.
Yeah.
Yes, somebody has another
This is
story.
just
I think.
no, it was just a
Raghuramji, until realization, it is always Dvaita, will be in Dvaita, right?
No, no. See, we also hovering between Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishtha, Advaita. You're always hovering.
What is Vishishta Dvaita says?
Vishishtha, Advaita is special circumstances or special occasion, Advaita connection.
Hmm.
Like, simple thing is that somebody comes to your house and left the car outside. And then somebody comes, your car is coming in your way. Whose car is it? Everybody in that group says it's my car.
Hmm.
Their car. That means Visishta situation Advaita.
Hmm.
Also, this example that, when owner is not there at home, and then somebody comes to that house, whose house it is, Mali says, it is my house. Tell me what you require. Eh? Identification. Visishta situation. Nanmane ido. It's my house. And it's so beautiful. Ramakrishna Paramsa gives very beautiful. He says that two these servants of the two houses, they'll be saying that, in my house we have such a beautiful washing machine. And then, no, in my house it's the latest washing machine. Actually, it is their owner's house, not their own house. So like that, it is just like, I mean, it's a very common thing that we see that. That means we say, and there is nothing lie about it. See, words are the expression of what you feel inside. The identification with that. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮನೇದು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಓನರ್ ಮನೇದದು ಆ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. That's how it happens. And we enjoy that. We should enjoy Dvaita, Advaita, Visishta, Advaita, everything.
But ultimately, they are also teaching same Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, all
Yes,
the three.
because you see, when you look at Bhagavad Gita, there also you find that principles of Dvaita. Otherwise, this, Hare Krishna movement would not have survived.
Yeah.
Because there's so much of Dvaita aspect of it. Same way, Visishta Dvaita, they also have Bhagavad Gita of their own. And Advaita, of course, Advaita, Shankara has given the commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And you see, when Shankara gives Bhagavad Gita, then for him, Krishna is not God or anything, it's all Brahman.
So it's all basically commentaries.
Yes.
Which are different.
Different commentaries.
Same commentaries.
Yeah.
Same
And
Ramayana, Mahabharata, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Veda, and the commentaries from different acharyas.
different acharyas, because their own. And not only that, later on also there are several people who have come and then given the commentaries. They are the commentaries the knowledge of whatever that Upanishad is, the Vedas are there, they are commentary according to present day situation. Like for example, 3000 years ago, Shankaracharya has given commentary on Bhagavad Gita. It is during the Shankara's time, whatever the concept was there, he worked on that. Whereas today, Chinmayananda is given about 150 years ago, based on whatever that those days. If I talk today about Bhagavad Gita, I give examples of today. So that's how we work on that. And it's a facility to be able to update this knowledge current way. Therefore, that our scriptures survive for another 10,000 years. Okay, I think we'll make a move. Thank you so much. Nice
Thank you,
questions.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Raghuramji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhaji.
Thank
Thank you, Prabha Madam.
Thank you.